everyone. It's Phil Wade from Dalton Wade Real Estate Group, and today I'm joined with Claren. And Valerie is holding the phone.
Myself.
And today we're going to talk about the difference between a single agent, designation, and transaction broker, and kind of what responsibilities we owe our clients depending on which which agency relationship we have with them. So most of the time we're a transaction broker, but I'll start with kind of the single agent piece of it first. So that when you're a single agent, you can be both a single agent for a seller and for a buyer, but you can't be representing both under single agency. We are giving a higher level of of kind of overall responsibility to the client. The first one is that we're dealing honestly and fairly with them. Hopefully everybody's doing that all the time. So again, that's kind of a given. The second one is loyalty. We need to be loyal to our client. I personally cannot think of an example where loyalty would kind of come up. Can you, Claren?
No.
It's just, but it is there. Really the biggest one that I find is confidentiality. And we're going to talk a little bit about that when we kind of get into the difference between a transaction broker and a single agent, and kind of what we can and can't say in terms of keeping kind of what our clients tell us confidential. The next one is obedience. Any thoughts on obedience?
For a single agent?
Yeah, when you're a single agent.
Pretty much you have to do anything your seller says, except, if it's unlawful. But other than that.
Exactly. And really the big one is that crappy offer they want you to write.
Yeah.
That offer.
That one.
That one. We've all had that one where they're going to ask us to, put in that, $180,000 offer on a $250,000 property, and we kind of all know. But if you're a single agent, you do have to do it because you've kind of represented, when you establish that single agency that you would. Full disclosure, again, all material defects, that are not readily observable. So need to be disclosed. So what is readily, so do you need to disclose that bad roof? The roof's shot, it looks shot. Do you need to disclose that? Well, you might, but you don't have to, because again, it's readily observable. So the buyer, you're representing the seller, the buyer's going to be able to see that. It's things that they can't see, they don't know. Those are the things that that you definitely need to disclose. The next one is accounting for all funds. That's sort of an offshoot of when we took our class to get our license. They talked about how the broker, you have to give the broker the check within 1 day, and he has to deposit it in 3 days, and but really because of all the regulations around that, really no brokerage for the most part has an escrow account. So there's really so that's where the accounting of all funds kind of come in, but it really doesn't apply in most cases because the funds go to the title company. So we're kind of luckily off the hook there. Skill, care, diligence in the transaction, again, kind of a given. That's kind of what we do. If you're a newer agent, and you have some questions around, anything really, call me. I can kind of help you make sure we're doing the right thing. The next one is presenting all offers, presenting all counter offers, and presenting them in a timely basis. So, you have to do that. I mean, and what's a timely basis? I mean, I think it's, probably 2 or 3 hours. It's, if the offer comes in at 10 at night and you send it in the next morning, you're good. But I mean, you can't be sitting on offers. If you get a verbal offer, you have to kind of let them know. And you just want to get that over to your client, very, very quickly. So that's kind of the, that's the single agent side of it. So then the transaction broker has some of those same elements, and then some are left out. So the ones that are the same are the dealing honestly and fairly, the accounting for all funds, which for most part doesn't apply, the skill, care, and diligence, the disclosing of all the known facts, and here's really the big one. It's limited confidentiality. So where does limited confidentiality comes in. So here's where it comes in. It comes in, so you're again, if your client, tells you they'll take this much for their property, that's between you and your client. Whether you're a single agent or whether you're a transaction broker, you're not to be telling the other agent this. And again, if you think about it, and your client found out, I mean, how would they feel? You've compromised their position. So that's really kind of, and again, or your client is telling you, they'll take this to sell the house or they'll pay this to buy the house. That's between you and them. And whether you're a single agent or transaction broker, that has to be kept confidential. So I can't tell you the number of times when I've heard from another agent what the person will take. So, that's, again, there's confusion around that. So, and a good agent on the other